I suppose we got a couple of days off to, I suppose, re-energise after a big block of games, and then we were back in last week, and yeah, straight back to work with Stu and Leo here. So got a good full training week in. Got sort of ahead of the curve in terms of Toulouse prep, and yeah, getting ready for a big game. And then obviously looking at the lads' performances over there. So we would have reviewed the lads' performance against the Lions game last week and looked at that, and it was an incredible performance by them, and brilliant for them to get the result down there. Yeah, so it was a good 2 weeks, Michael. Thanks.
What's the biggest difference when you're training with so many of the squad away? Do you get in the academy guys, or is it more team meetings and opposition analysis?
Say that again.
So what's the biggest difference in the training when there's so many of the squad away? Do you have to tailor it, or do you get the academy guys in to run against you?
Yeah, we're lucky enough to have a crop of lads up from the COE down in Donnybrook. So a good few of the under-20s lads came up. I suppose the likes of Gus McCarthy and a few of the lads who didn't travel but are preparing themselves for their World Cup now in June. So they're a talented bunch of lads, and the I suppose the next up and coming generation. So we're lucky enough to have them to get a bit of 15 on 15 work, and it was still very tough and still a lot of good work done.
It looks James Lowe's lost his fitness battle, and like there's no escaping it that when Leinster are on form like they normally are, there's a lot of weight put on James's left boot and how he can get you into position and how useful a weapon it is. How do you compensate for that loss, or does it involve a change of tactics from your end?
Yeah, it's disappointing not to have Lowy involved, especially the sort of the finals and the rugby. Yeah, it's good that he puts his weight to use with that left peg of his. So it is a good asset, but we're lucky enough to have a few left footers in the squad, whether it's Jimmy or Jamie Osborne. So it's just about tweaking a few things. Like I suppose one of the advantages in playing in such a competitive squad that has a lot of depth is that if there's a few injuries, there's always lads with their hand up, ready to I suppose slot in anywhere and always performing when they do get those chances.
Last year's semi-final was probably one of Leinster's best of the season, to win against Toulouse, but I presume Toulouse will feel that they could have played twice as good, and that they didn't really show up on the day. I presume now you're expecting a much better complete performance from Toulouse.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have looked at that game and reviewed it and taken a lot of lessons out of it, and are probably still a bit bitter and hurting from it. So I suppose it's something we have to be aware of as well. But I think at the same time they're the ones with 5 stars, and they got there before us. So it's something that's motivating us. So we have to find things like that to keep driving us on and keep pushing us forward.
How do you make sure that it doesn't feel like extra pressure on you, and that you are able to channel that into motivation to get the 5th star? I mean,
I suppose using it in the right ways, using it as a motivator, but not letting it get seeping into your mind, into your thoughts. I suppose it's been a disappointing last few seasons in terms of Europe, losing in a final, in a semi-final and quarter-final. And a lot of us haven't won a Heineken Cup, so it's definitely probably the #1 goal for us this season, and for us collectively, and a lot of us individually as well. So we're definitely not going to be shy of motivation. And then even to just look at Toulouse, who are such a top class side, they're top of the top 14 and playing such good rugby, and their individuals just says it all, really. So yeah, we're definitely not going to be shy of motivation, and yeah, we know what challenge is coming.
Thank you. Best luck.
Thank you.
Hugo, Will here from Virgin Media. How are you?
Hey Will, how's it going?
Good stuff, man. Let's just a couple from me. I know you mentioned Toulouse there, and how good they are. Are they, in your mind, do you think they'll be the best side that you'll have faced so far this year when you take to the pitch?
Yeah, definitely. Like they're certainly up there in the top sides of Europe. They always are. I think obviously have that fifth star, so you have to respect that. And again, just looking at their team sheet, the 9-10 and talent, I suppose, all across their back line and their big ball carriers in the pack as well. So they're top of the top 14 and they're in a good vein of form. So yeah, it's as challenging as you can get really at this moment in time.
And if you look back at that quarter-final performance, do you think if you reach those heights, that's good enough to see them off?
I think we'll have to even top that, to be honest. I think like that first half performance especially, I don't think we were clinical enough. I know we started well, but we let Leicester back into the game. Our discipline was a bit off, and they got a bit of purchase at our breakdown as well. So we've learned a lot from it, and to play a top side like Leicester in a quarter, we need to use that as an advantage going into this, because we can't repeat those same mistakes against Toulouse.
And it's funny for me then as well, when you think of French rugby at the moment, you think of Antoine Dupont. Is it key to almost shut him down, stop him playing? If you do that, you're pretty much halfway there to kind of sing off Toulouse?
Yeah, he's obviously such a pivotal part in their team and how they play. Obviously played against him a few times now, whether it's for Toulouse and France, and we've all seen his capabilities. But it's the side they are. They've got plenty of talent across their team, whether it's at 10 with Ntamack or Ramos at 15 as well. So a lot of individuals to be looking at and to be getting over.
Cheers, Hugo. Best of luck.
Cheers, Will. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else for Hugo?
Yeah, if I could just pop in. Hi Hugo, it's Nick Mullins, BT Sport. Thanks very much for your time. Just going back to the Dupont and to the Ntamack thing. Do you look at individuals or do you look at shapes? How do you defend against a team like them, players like them?
I suppose you look at both. You look at how they play as a team, but then I suppose individual traits as well, and you get to know players by playing against them a bit, but then also do an extra review on them, because the likes of Ntamack and Dupont are constantly adding little bits to their game as well. So it's about doing your homework and then I suppose building it up on the training field as well. So trying to, I suppose, lads and bibs trying to replicate what they do. It's easier said than done now, but yeah, we're doing a bit of that, and I suppose it's not about going after them individually, it's going after them collectively is probably the main thing.
Who's Dupont? Who's Ntamack during the training session?
Can't be revealing those secrets now.
So if you had to put into a single sentence or two, though, what those two have that sets them apart? What are their special qualities in your mind?
I suppose you just have to be expecting anything with the pair of them. Like Dupont's running game, he's extremely strong for his size. He's got a powerful handoff, and then Ntamack's, I suppose, for a fullback, it's just his kicking game, isn't it? He's got a wide variety, whether it's kick passes, little chips, or the full range of kicks, really.
And just a final question: what's it like being Hugo Keenan at the moment? Life seems pretty sweet from a distance.
Yeah, I suppose it's all just focused on this game. Like as I was saying earlier, I've never won a European Cup. It's still up there as number one on things to do in club rugby for me. So it's a hugely motivating factor for me this year. So all focused on that, and yeah, I've learned over the last few seasons how tough it is in Europe and how close we've been getting. So it's just all about going one step further this year. Cheers, Nick. Thank you.
Hugo, it's Don here. You know, you can now compare,
French club rugby and South African club rugby. How close are they now to test match rugby?
Yeah, European rugby's as close as you can get. Like you're playing against a side that's got so much international quality in it, in terms of Toulouse, and then I suppose with the addition of the South African teams, it adds probably a different element in terms of the style of rugby and what Southern Hemisphere rugby is all about, with their physicality, their line speed and whatnot. So it's an exciting time, isn't it?
Indeed. And as a Leinster player, Hugo, where would you rate this game?
It's number one. Like it's the most important thing in our season. It's not that it's over, but our number one goal is winning Europe, and it all comes down to this week. So it's every gym session, every training session's been building up to this one. So not to overhype it for ourselves, but yeah, it's as important as it gets.
Thanks, Hugo.
Cheers, Don.
Hi Hugo, Jerry Corey. I'm just wondering, in your own case, ahead of games like this, you don't strike me as somebody that gets too nervous, or how does it affect you, say, these really big games?
No, you do get nervous, if I'm being honest. I suppose it's just natural, and it's just about using those nerves as a good thing. I think it shows that you care. It shows the importance of the game, but it's just harnessing it in the best way possible to focus your mind and really drive it for a good performance in the game.
And we've been talking a lot about the Toulouse halfbacks. How important are Ross Byrne and Jamison Gibson Park? They obviously will have a huge part to play in this game. Yeah,
absolutely. We're lucky enough to have strength and depth in our 9s and 10s, whoever it may be, and Jamison and Ross have both been having great seasons and played such a big part in the Six Nations success, but also with how Leinster are going so far this season. So they're always key to our game. I suppose 9 and 10s are always fundamental to any side, so we're lucky to have them.
And finally for me, as the last line of defence, Toulouse play maybe a similar brand of rugby. Do you have to adapt differently against, say, a French team as distinct from, maybe an English or Scottish, Welsh team?
I suppose maybe, as I was saying to Nick earlier, that just you have to expect anything really with the French teams. They like to offload, like to keep the ball alive with the threats at 9 and 10, and throughout their team you have to really expect anything. They'll run it from deep or do anything really. So you can't be switching off back there.